I've been skinny fat, obese, and ripped at some point in my life. And I always choose to be ripped. It helps me with my discipline, self esteem, and overall confidence in everything I do. I'm currently on a journey to get my six pack after a back injury. I'm currently at 67 kgs after week 1. I started out at being 68 kgs. I consume about 1650 calories and I make sure to walk at least 15,000 steps a day to achieve this goal. There are other multiple steps involved in losing 1 kg of weight every week. But the single most important concept to understand is calorie deficit and calories in general. Once you understand what calories are and how you can manipulate them, then bodybuilding and fat loss is going to be on easy mode. So it's absolutely crucial for you to watch this video fully to know what calories are and how you too can get on a fat loss or a bulking journey of your own. Step 1 is to understand what calories are in the first place. That way you can either increase or decrease based on your body weight goals. A calorie is basically a unit of energy. The food you eat is the fuel that you provide your body, and this fuel is measured in calories. Now, how does your body utilize this fuel? By simply doing everyday tasks like sleeping, walking, running, breathing, or even working out. Listen closely. When you give your body the right quantity of food, the exact amount of fuel that it needs to perform everyday tasks, then you neither lose weight nor gain weight. This is called a calorie maintenance, because by the end of the day, all of the calories is used up to perform all the tasks that you usually do. But on the other hand, if you give your body too much food, then what it does is utilize as much as it can to perform all the activities every day, and the rest is stored as fat in your belly and waist. This is called a calorie surplus or bulk in common terms. In our case, to lose excess fat, what we do is provide a little less food to our body. To survive, what the body does is use the fat from our body as fuel. This is how we lose weight in the form of fat. And this method is called a calorie deficit or a cut. So to recap, a calorie maintenance is when you give the right amount of food to your body so it can perform all the day-to-day tasks without losing or gaining weight. A calorie surplus or a bulk is when you eat a lot more food than usual to gain weight in the form of fat and muscle. Good. Now that you've understood the fundamentals, let's move on to the exciting part of losing fat using a calorie deficit. Step 2 is to calculate your calorie maintenance first. Once you know what your calorie maintenance is, it'll be super easy to know how much less food you need to have to start losing fat. Now, to find your maintenance, I've got a simple formula. Most influencers are going to ask you to go onto a calorie calculator online and enter in your age, weight, height, and activity levels. Nobody's got the time for that, and it's usually not very accurate. Instead, just use my formula to get an approximate value of your maintenance. Later, I'll show you how you can turn that approximate value to be very accurate. First, get your weight in kgs and then convert it to pounds. To do that, multiply your weight with 2.2. This is the formula to convert kgs to pounds. But if you already have your weight in pounds, simply move on to the next step. Now, to calculate your maintenance, multiply your weight in pounds with 15. You must be wondering what this number 15 is. It is simply just a number that I have derived after years of experimenting. So trust me, it works. You now have an approximate value of your maintenance. This is the caloric value that you must be eating every day to sustain yourself, that is, not lose weight or gain weight. Now, how do you convert this approximate value to being absolutely accurate? You test it out for a whole week. That is, you start eating with the same calories every single day for 7 days, Monday to Sunday. And every morning, as soon as you get up, on an empty stomach, you're going to weigh yourself without any clothes on. And after 7 days, you're going to get 7 different values of weight. They're all going to be different or similar in some cases. Then what you do next with that value is simple mathematics of taking the average. What you do is add all the 7 numbers and divide it by 7. This is the average weight after 7 days of consuming the same amount of calories. Now what you do is compare this average weight with the weight that you first started out this journey on. If the average weight is the same as the starting weight, then you have successfully found your caloric maintenance. On the other hand, if you have lost 250 to 500 grams of weight, then you're in a calorie deficit and you simply need to be adding 250 calories to get your maintenance. If you have gained 250 grams to 500 grams of weight, then you're in a calorie surplus and you need to subtract 250 calories to get your accurate maintenance value. That's about it. Simple, right? Now that you know what your caloric maintenance is, it is very simple to either get on a cut or a bulk based on your goals. If you want to go onto a cut, simply subtract 250 calories from your caloric maintenance. For example, if your caloric maintenance is 2000, subtracting 250 calories will give you 1750 calories. You need to be eating this every day to start losing fat. But if you want to go onto a bulk, simply add 250 to 300 calories to your caloric maintenance. For example, if your caloric maintenance is 2250 to 2300 calories will set you up on a bulk. This way you start gaining a lot of muscle but also a little bit of fat. You eat a lot more food, you are still going to gain a little bit of fat. There's no other way about it. I am currently on a 1650 calorie diet to lose up to 1 kg of fat a week. As a beginner, aim between 250 to 500 grams of weight loss per week. This goal is very sustainable and you're not going to feel hungry all the time. I, on the other hand, use a lot other techniques to achieve up to 1 kg of fat loss, which I'm going to be sharing in the future videos, especially regarding my current diet and macros, which is going to be my next video.